Welcome to the Real Chili Podcast.
And the Golden Eagles of Marquette University in Milwaukee are bound for the Final Four for only the third time ever.
5 seconds left. Marquette down by one, trying to avoid the upset. Blue the drive, the left hand. It's good. 1 second to play. Vander Blue has put Marquette in front by one.
And I want to win every day as basketball players, as students, and I want to win every day, most importantly, as people.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of the Real Chili Podcast. I'll be your host tonight, Pete Mohan, and joined by my good friend, Eric Pond. How you doing tonight, Eric?
Doing well, Mohan. Good to be back on the broadcast.
I'm happy to see you here as well, and unfortunately, the result of tonight's game, a 71-68 loss to the Creighton Bluejays. Perhaps, some might say, a hard-fought effort by the Marquette Golden Eagles against the 15th, I believe, ranked team in the country. And, I think most of us expected us to lose. Some of us expected us to lose by a margin greater than the spread. And for the first time, I think we were 1-10 in the last games against the spread. Marquette does come up on the right side of that for those who care. But it was, I think, a hard-fought effort, and I was proud of the guys down the stretch, clearly losing to a better team. If I'm a Creighton fan, I'm wondering why they let these Marquette boys hang around so long, because there was, frankly, a lot of moments where I was shaking my fist at this Marquette team for careless turnovers and poor rebounding effort, and yet there they were within one possession at the end of the game against a top-ranked team. So what do you think?
Yeah, well said, and well diagnosed here in the minutes just following. Again, another loss, but a loss to a good Big East opponent. Creighton, I think is now 6-1 in Big East road games. They showed energy and effort. I don't think we can discount that, and really a stellar shutdown defensive performance at the end of the game after Marquette did show promise and heart. It was a bit of a yo-yo game kind of all afternoon and evening. The result, though, is the result we did cover for all our degenerates out there in real Chili land. So if you were brave enough to actually bet on this team after going 1-10 against the spread, congratulations to you. Creighton's a good program. It's a good blueprint of a program to follow. They are, with Nova and a few others, the class of the Big East, and we aren't at this point. It's a little bit disappointing to see us come up short, knowing what's ahead on the schedule and what the remainder of the Big East slate looks like going into Nova and then Seton Hall, I believe, immediately following that. Feels like a little bit of a door slamming shut on us at this point, and a little bit of the runway into the postseason kind of quickly disappearing behind us with a bit of a failure to launch from this team. So that's got me down a little bit this afternoon, but there is some elements to take away from this that I think are promising.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned Creighton's road record. I think we should also mention Marquette's home Big East record, which is now 2-6, I believe, on the Big East season, which frankly is a little upsetting. Of course, home and road meaning a little bit less this year, of course, with no fans in the stands. I guess this game they were allowed to have parents and family members in the stands, which must have been nice. And I frankly always appreciate when Marquette gets to play on national TV. I think it's something we should always be grateful for program-wise. We weren't getting, we were probably getting as many or maybe not even as many nationally televised games when we were even in the Big East with ESPN, the old Big East. Getting these games on Fox on a prime time on a Saturday afternoon is something that I think we should all really appreciate. That said, the guys did, I think, perform worthy of that national television stage, and there were some highlight plays. Really, the margin for me, we have it here as the second bullet on the rundown, but we were just out rebounded, and on the offensive boards especially, Creighton grabbed 11 offensive rebounds, and Marquette only grabbed 4. And it just seemed like they were quicker to the boards. And there are a lot of compounding issues here. Let's face it. Justin Lewis being injured, he did play a few minutes. Clearly looks still injured, not himself, not able to be the exceptional rebounder that he is with the ankle injury that he's sustained. So not having him grabbing boards for us obviously doesn't help. And then, as we documented previously, Theo John dealing with a lingering knee injury and more recently an ankle injury. So that did hurt. And then, of course, any and all inevitable foul trouble that Theo John gets in, presenting even more of an issue. So you might have noticed the title of the episode, Mouse in the House, which is a bit of a callback to the last episode. Great phrase, great basketball phrase. But that's just what it seemed like in this game is Marquette was outmuscled and outplayed at the rim and on the glass. And part of it was because of our injured front court. But it just seemed like Creighton wanted those rebounds a little bit more in this game. And you got to give credit to guys like Kalkbrenner, who really put on a clinic around the hoop against us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the differential says it all. I saw 41-28 out rebounded somewhere else. I know ESPN has a little bit different number. I think 38-26 overall out rebounded 11-4 on the offensive glass. That says a lot. Creighton let us hang a little bit. Some of that was really sloppy play and turnovers on both sides of the ball. That said, 11 turnovers still does not make a good way to win a game against the number 15 team in the nation. We've now, I believe, been on the wrong end of the turnover differential in 5 of our last 6 games. That's a little bit frustrating. Still, it'd be nice to see us kind of turn the tide there and play a little bit smarter with the ball. I think again that energy and effort, through till the end of the game, Creighton really had it. Who was it? Sharif. What is his name? I think Sharif Mitchell at the end, really shutting down DJ Carton, who had a shot or a potential opportunity to tie the game. DJ did have those last 2 exceptionally deep makes, which was fantastic. Carton turning it on earlier and really playing aggressively earlier in the game and not when we're down 6 or 8 or 12 in the second half is something I would like to see more and more. Again, using this last stretch of games in the Big East and in the 2020-2021 season as a building block for him. That's something that I see as big opportunity, and I'm eager to see that growth. As you said, just selfishly as a Marquette fan, hoping to see more national exposure and more of these Saturday afternoon, national games. DJ having several just absolutely thunderous dunks. A monster block on Damian Jefferson.
For a foul.
For a foul, fair enough.
That was a great foul because he only hit one of the 2 free throws.
It's a good foul, exactly. Ended up being a good foul. I think he had some to give at that point. It still keeps fans engaged. It keeps you seeing some of these breadcrumbs that we want to see. And then again, really driving it through to the end of the game and hanging tough and having a shot. It's better than we can say in a lot of performances from Marquette this year.
I mean, it sounds like a shitty participation trophy,
Yeah.
but like genuinely, I was pleased with this team's performance tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, in a game where you're expecting a loss against legitimately a better team,
Right.
And I don't know what it is why we play well against Creighton. I think most people would surmise that Greg McDermott is a better coach than Wojo. Excuse me. But we were right there. And frankly, we, what was it? Down 9 at halftime, I believe, and muscled our way back. This team has shown a lot of times that they're able to hang around with teams that are far superior to them. And frankly, that's one of the things that frustrates me the most, and probably a lot of fans. And similar to the DJ Carton thing, where he's shown he's so good in bursts, and you're like, what do we need to do to keep that engine firing the whole time?
Yep.
This team does show really great play. It's just not for 40 minutes right now.
Yep. I think
well, I was just gonna say, like, it's exciting because it is in the right direction, I think, and we are seeing development from young guys. And here's the other end of it is I could picture B. Henry being on this blog on this podcast. It's blog level content.
Bubbles is a blog boy. So
he is a blog boy. Yeah. Bubble butt blog boy. But I could totally say, we lose by 17 in this game, which is a totally reasonable result, which I think would reflect maybe even the gap in talent and experience between these two starting fives, especially with Justin Lewis injured and Theo hobbled. 17-point loss to this Creighton team would not be unexpected. And B. Henry will probably come on here, we shit the bed on national TV and burn it down. I mean, short of pulling off an upset against a fairly well-ranked squad who we've already beaten this year, and sweeping would be frankly outrageous given this year's team and Creighton's team this year. I mean, I don't know what else you want from this team against Creighton. They beat them on the road by 5 and then lost by 3 at home in a game that they had a chance. And I do want to go back to that ending. I think you might have said it was DJ had the last shot. I believe it was Kobe that actually jacked it up.
Yeah.
But it was, and then I think it was the possession before that Jamal had 2 shots from the corner, couldn't get either one to go, and that kind of seemed like it would just about seal the deal. And then not having a timeout at the end because we did have to come back, forced us to play out that possession. I know Jamal missed those 2 shots on the previous possession, or maybe it was 2 before the final, but I would have liked to see him launch it early in that possession when the ball first hit his hands, because it seemed like he was in rhythm, and then he passed it back off, led to some more sloppy dribbling from DJ Carton, and then passed it off to Kobe for some sloppy dribbling and a jacked up 3-pointer at the end. Really, I know that we could have gotten a better shot.
Yeah.
And I would have liked at least to get an earlier shot. And I would have hoped that would have come from Jamal in that opportunity. What about you? Would you have wanted him to take that with 20 seconds left?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where, a loss like this, I'm with you. It's completely understandable. In fact, a pessimistic Marquette fan in a state with legal gambling maybe would have made a wise choice to bet against this Marquette team at 4.5 points, and then shot the gap, losing money and losing the game for your favorite team. I think the hardest thing is being a little bit feeling like we're at the end of our rope here.
Pouring some Eagles blood.
Yeah, there you go. That's a nice, what is that, a red?
This is the Founders Blushing Monk.
Nice. Okay.
Belgian style ale fermented with raspberry. I'm a sucker for any raspberry brew.
Ooh,
that's my sweet tooth. But continue.
New Glarus has a wonderful, I believe it's a raspberry tart of some sort. That's quite terrific. I'll have to
I live in Massachusetts.
Set some out for you next time you're in the Midwest, hopefully for a celebration sometime soon. We digress. Few things really tough to swallow about this. One being, it feels like now, even though this was a loss that was perhaps expected, and smart money would have been on the loss here, it feels like this is a little bit our last opportunity, or was our last opportunity, to make a run at turning things around. I think the other hard thing to swallow here is it's another loss, and certainly wins we all kind of can, rally around the Marquette flag and celebrate and, ignore certain things that perhaps we should question. But this one, particularly the end of the game, leaves you with more lingering questions about, the execution and the preparedness of this team for a situation that should be, prepared and coached into these guys. It's
I don't
tough.
know. I mean, I don't know how well.
So was it
They
not?
know what to do in late game possessions. I don't think that you can blame X's and O's on a sloppy dribble.
Yeah. So that's, again, the questions to me are, and I think we're answering them now. Is it that it was not planned for? Was it that it was not drawn up properly and there wasn't really an opportunity to draw that up? Or was it not executed on by the players on the court with the ball in their hands? And to me, it's always one of those three. And I think
there's no way that there wasn't ahead of time, at least, hey, we get the ball on a final possession, we're going to go, DJ high ball screen or weave or whatever that garbled crap at the top of the key that they tried was. Yeah. But I don't think that was it. And I mean, again, Marquette did not have a timeout in that situation. Right. I think that we were frankly lucky that Zagorowski missed the second of his free throws to give us an opportunity as a 3-point game.
Oh, no question.
And I mean, for me, it's just about the timing. I don't know how much it helps if Wojo's on the sideline screaming, shoot the ball, with 20 seconds left. That's not really a coach's job, but I think the guys should have made a run at it. They shouldn't have been chasing after a rebound as the buzzer was sounding, in my opinion. And I wish that Jamal had hit those threes previously, but I also wish that he had the courage to launch that even despite those misses, because he has shown the ability to hit big shots, and he hit big shots earlier in the game to keep us hanging in, especially at the beginning. Jamal was pretty much the team's whole offense for that first half of the first half. And it was great to see him be assertive. It's just basketball. Sometimes you're going to miss. But when it comes down to it, if it's situational and you got to get a shot up, dude, you're a senior, you got to launch that.
Yep. And coming into that last stretch of the game there, the last minute or two, Jamal was really our pretty much sole producer of threes there. He was ended up 3 of 7 on the night. DJ hitting those last 2 in the waning minutes of the game, ended up at 3 and 7 as well. Jamal showed up in this game. He certainly did. It's just those big moments where, you have to shake it off. Greg missed a wide open corner 3 with 3 or 4 minutes left. That was tough. There were opportunities here for this team to pull it closer. It seemed like every time we did, we couldn't quite do it, or we opened the door back up with a sloppy turnover, and that leaves you in that position at the end of the game where you're doing what we had to do. But again, I'd like to see this team know a little bit more what they want to do in that last 20 seconds, ball in your hand, down 3. Have Jamal take that shot, have the opportunity. Again, it's not like the offensive glass was
that's true.
That wasn't a strength for us today. So maybe that was strategic, actually. With this team, I don't know. We're lacking, I don't size and physicality down low, but still, no. It seemed like it was just an absolute breakdown on that last possession. And credit a little bit to Creighton.
Yeah, they forced an issue.
They did
all high. They did. And But I will say I'm glad that at least the play was primarily looking to utilize the guards, because I probably would have been pissed if they had thrown it into Theo or something like that. I was not looking for a post possession there.
Yeah.
My gripe is I was looking for an earlier shot. So at least if there's a rebound, I mean, dude, you're down 3, you miss. Maybe they're not going to miss many more free throws, but still, I think you got to give yourself 2 chances at least for an offensive rebound. So.
I'm with you.
I also want to pivot here. Something that I think was one of the reasons for Marquette's relative success in this game was changing things up a little bit off the bench, and that meant a sighting of old Jose Perez, the Gardner-Webb transfer, for those of you at home who forgot that he existed. I think most of Marquette Nation did. This was his first appearance, as well documented by the announcers in the game, since the second game of the season. And frankly, I feel like we should have been pining for more Jose on the podcast earlier, when we were like, why is Samir getting these minutes? And I do think seeing the 2 players juxtaposed in this game, it does look like Samir does provide a little bit better defense, a little bit quicker feet, staying in front of his man. But Jose was a breath of fresh air on offense, because not only did he hit a 3 early in the game, but he was playing a little bit of bully ball on another possession, backing a guy down, making plays with physicality, and looking confident offensively, which, I mean, that's something that we've been bitching about all season, is like, can we please get some more confidence from the guys that are out there, or dig on the bench, find some guys that want to take shots, because there's limited offensive aggression, I think one might say, with this squad. And even from our best players, Dawson Garcia and DJ Carton, there's times where they don't have any get up and go, or they just go vanishing for periods. So I love to see Wojo mix that up and dig Jose out. My only question is, what took so long, and why were we looking like we're fumbling through a rotation with Akano and Greg Elliott, sorting through Greg Elliott's turnovers, and Samir not being able to really offer anything offensively? Why was Jose not out on the court sooner for this Marquette squad?
Yeah, I think those are all important points you raise. And, I had a really similar takeaway seeing Jose on the floor. I mean, he's 6'5" and all of 210, and his presence is really, it's noticeable on the court. He just brings a little bit of a different dimension. And I think you're right. The confidence and the kind of ability to, or the willingness to take shots, hopefully paired with ability, is something this team sorely needs. Garcia was on the floor for 32 minutes, and I want to pick on Garcia here, but he had 6 field goal attempts, went 3 of 6 in 32 minutes for 8 points. Perez on the court for 12 minutes, and he put up 5 shots and hit a 3. Again, it's something that this team, it desperately needs, that different dimension off the bench. It's been a season-long problem. And I think you're right. Again, more than anything, it raises some questions about how has it taken this long to kind of make that decision, settle into a little bit of a different look in this rotation. Depth is needed on this team, especially in a game where, again, Justin Lewis plays 8 minutes. Theo is limited. Samir, who knows what's going on with his injury, if he's still coming back. Was it with a thumb? Was plaguing him kind of through the winter months here. I'd like to see what we have more in Jose. What is he, a junior?
That's a good question. I do believe he has one more year of eligibility after this, beyond whatever COVID waiver.
Sure. Yep. I mean, they're again, this is the point in the season that I feel like we're at, is looking towards and the future, and really trying to draw some of these things out in terms of learnings, what we can glean now in the waning sort of month of the Big East schedule and what that looks like next year in terms of assessing what we have and how that kind of comes together to give us a new look at the squad in 2021-22. So Jose looks like he should be part of that.
I don't know. I mean, like I just think early in the season, we were talking so much about, hey, this squad has a lot of depth, right? And like that's going to be one of our strengths. I think you've seen it kind of with our scoring balance. You know, you look at the points per game. I think we got 4 guys in double figures, and it has been a balanced effort. But in early on, or this middle portion of the Big East season, Wojo kind of has tightened down his bench, and then, which has kind of been strange too, with Theo's injuries that have been lingering, and then everything else going on with just the losses. You'd think he'd be scrambling for solutions or something like that, and I think that just digging a little bit deeper on the bench brought more energy and defensive. It wasn't even. I mean, well, holding Creighton to 1.08 points per possession is actually pretty good defense, I would say. Overall, I would say pretty good defensive performance. But I think just giving those starters that extra rest. Look, Kobe played 33 minutes, Garcia 33 minutes, Carton 29 minutes. And I think that we want those guys because they are our best players to play as many minutes as possible. But I think that they had just been maxed out and we weren't getting that extra energy and, team competitiveness that comes from having a deeper bench and guys, maximizing the most out of their minutes. That doesn't really happen when you're only going 7 guys deep.
No. We don't. I mean, this team doesn't have a second unit to speak of. I mean, it's just non-existent. Again, in fairness, I think they did play pretty good defense on Creighton, holding them to what they did. Creighton's offense coming into the game ranked 29th nationally in turnover avoidance. Only turned the ball over on 15.9% of possessions. We certainly, I would think we forced
we held them
more
to
than that.
15.2%.
There you go. Okay.
Held them to their average, which actually is pretty good for Marquette, which is a non-turning the ball over defense.
Yeah.
To make Creighton turn the ball over at their average is probably a win for Marquette.
Yeah. You do though see a team like Creighton who had a very similar distribution or dispersion of minutes across their starters and their limited bench as well. Bishop, Jefferson, Zagorowski, Ballack, and Mahoney all in the 30s. Bishop at 25 minutes, and their bench really held to 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 8 and 2. Almost an exact mirror of sort of our dispersion of minutes. Again,
I want to take a step back here and let's go a little bit big picture here.
Sure.
A little relativity experiment. I mean, let's say you are a Creighton fan, right? Sure. Or you're a Marquette fan, and we just swap rosters. And
you bet on Creighton today. Sure.
We don't even need to bring Vegas into this, but I'm just saying, like, if you're Creighton, a Creighton fan, and you look at the guys that you have and the ragtag whatever that Marquette is bringing to the court right now. Bad News Bears Marquette team. Wouldn't you be pissed as a Creighton fan? Like, I mean, I personally, I love their team or their like roster makeup. I think, well, what we have here on a bullet too is DJ Carton better than Zagorowski? We'll get into that conversation next. But I will say there's so many guys on their squad that I love their game. Like, especially their forwards, Jefferson, Mahoney, Bishop. Those guys, like versatile, dynamic players, run the floor, play defense. Like those guys are great. Like I would love to have any of those three guys.
Yeah.
And yet somehow you're losing one game at home to Marquette and only beating them by one possession on the road. Like what? What? I
Yeah.
would be pissed if I was a Creighton fan. Like, and that to me, that's how I am judging this Marquette team. Like, if I'm Creighton right now, what the hell? Like, that should not have been that close. Come down to some crazy Kobe jacked up three at the end against this team. If I'm Marquette, because of like that's a win. I mean, you won against the line. There's a good estimation of how you are versus perception, I suppose. Sure. But I thought Marquette played well. Probably played well enough to win if they tidied up some sloppy things. And you had a DJ Carton that was assertive for more minutes. I know we've been asking for that for a long time, and after every game, it seems like we're asking for that. But like, it was. I'm pleased. I'm pleased right now. We're 5-8. We beat Butler last game. Like, it sucks. It sucks. The record sucks. We probably won't make the Marquette. We probably won't make the March Madness tournament, which is unfortunate. It's going to be an uphill climb if we want a shot at that. But that starts against Nova. But in the meantime, all you can do is judge them by this game. In this game, I thought Marquette played well. They just came up short. I don't know. I don't know what more that – like, are you asking for more from them in this scenario, Eric?
Marquette, no. I think this
game,
is –
like, are you – I mean, what more do you want from Wojo? Like, I was going to come into this game with a lead. Like, I know what you're thinking after that performance. Mm-hmm. You better fire Wojo. Like, I mean, come on. Like, what – how is this a notch in that belt? I know someone maybe sarcastically posted that in the comments, or not sarcastically, but like,
I did see that.
What more can you ask out of Wojo in this scenario? What more can you ask out of the team? Come on.
I'm with you. It's all relative, man. Like the point where we're at in the season right now today, and what we're coming off of losing, what'd you say, four out of our last 5, 5-8 in conference. We're below 500 on the season. We're just simply not we're not at the point in the year, and we're probably just not good enough to have higher expectations against a really good Creighton team. We have this conversation in December after beating, whatever, 2 top 10 teams or our start to the year. We have this conversation at that point. No, like I am not happy with this. I'm not satisfied with this performance. It's all relative. How long back do you want to look? What is our sort of what's our scale we're judging this on? If you say the last month or two, no, this probably certainly exceeds my expectations for overall performance and outcome in this game. That's an indictment right now more than anything. It just is. We've come to sort of maybe slowly crawl out of some of this apathy that's been plaguing not just the Real Chili Bros, but I think all of the fan base. Maybe to expect a little bit more now with this, maybe a glimmer of hope and some light. I don't think we're going to make the tournament. I would not expect a lot in the Big East tournament. We're at the bottom half of the Big East conference standings right now, and we're really a Providence win and a Butler win, them winning away from us being down with Georgetown and DePaul in the bottom of the barrel here. It's just what we are. I mean, we're facing reality. I think we need to look at this saying these guys. It would be great to show some growth and some progression in these games, individual growth, figuring this team out a little bit more in terms of what we have and what that, rotation does look like, who comes off the bench and when, and what can they bring, and who does, respond when we need to light a fire. That's important right now. And that's the stage of the season we're at. And that's just the reality of the situation. again, if we're having this conversation in December, I'm pretty upset about even having to have this conversation that we're really quite pleased with a 71-68 loss to Creighton in February, but it is what it is.
I think when you have a loss to DePaul and then a loss to St. John's,
that recalibrates your expectations.
Look, the story of the whole season has been missed opportunities, and we knew that this team was going to be finding its way and maybe not winning a ton of games, but in a lot of, and they have been in a lot of games, and it's been a learning experience for a young squad, but the ball just hasn't bounced the way that lent itself to exceeding our expectations. It's been the opposite. We've come up short, and there's been a variety of issues, but I think that the majority of them have just stemmed from inexperience, careless ball handling, and I don't know, just generally not having confidence. Those have been our biggest issues, and that's what's held us back from excelling in these games when you do have a shot to win and you just don't.
So I'm going to put my Fire Wojo hat on for a second, or my shirt, whatever kind of merch those guys are selling now outside of Fiserv Forum.
You can wear your red baseball cap that says #FireWojo. Make firing Wojo great again.
For everyone in Real Chill, I am not the ultimate Fire Wojo. I'm not evangelist. I'm not the Bubbles blog boy Henry out here calling for anyone's head. But
you're Smokey the Bear. You're not the fire department.
There you go. I think you could say that, though. That's what we've seen this season. I think you just really nicely laid it out. The issue then, again, let's increase sort of our lens, our sort of focal length here, going back further. Isn't it? Why do we always start strong, or why do we seem to start strong season after season, roster after roster, and then fizzle out? This year, the fizzle out happened sooner than it did in previous years. And we've ran out of gas, lost steam. And again, it's hard to say because the roster construction is so much different. There is so much turnover. There are so many new faces and names that are a part of this. Again, a COVID year generally, it's hard to compare this to anything else that we've seen. But still, there are themes here, and there's a thread that runs through the last 2, 3, 4 years of Marquette basketball, where it's a trend. It's enough to see a trend. If we start out like shit and now we're beating top 10 teams and we're growing stronger game by game, look at January through February, that's one thing. That's a reversal of what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, 3, 4 years. It just seems to be, for lack of a better term, it seems to be Groundhog Day.
I mentioned this on the last pod. I think that I'm not willing to wade into what is this macro arc where we shit the bed at the end of the year or whatever. I'm not willing to wade into that until the season is over. Because and the way that I am looking at this is I'm trying to detect any trends in our performance. And there was this awful 3-game stretch, losses to DePaul, Providence, and St. John's to close out January. But the next trend line that I see starting is we did come away with a win against Butler, and we played well against Creighton. I would say that those are 2 thumbs up in a row after 3 thumbs downs in a row. And I can't say that I agree necessarily with that yet. I'm eager to see our performance against Villanova and Seton Hall. That is Wednesday and Sunday of this coming week. Look, Villanova is a top 10 team in the country. They're very good. Who knows with this Marquette team? Personally, I think we have what it takes to knock off Seton Hall. I don't expect to win against Villanova, but I think that this team could beat Seton Hall. The other thing that I want to mention, though, about the schedule, I don't think that we've touched on this really at all on the podcast, but the next 5 games on the schedule, there are 6 games left on the Big East schedule, 5-game road stretch coming up. So if you're wondering what our tournament odds are, I think that 5-game road stretch with a 5-8 Big East record should tell you all you need to know about our chances. That's my take. But I also want to reiterate that I do see at least an even trend, if not a trending upward with this squad. I'm willing to wait and see. There are 2 games right in front of us, Villanova and Seton Hall, that are resume-building wins if we want them. And frankly, when you have a 5-game road stretch in the Big East, any road win in the Big East road this year, any road win is really nice for the resume. So you can't say that there's not opportunities to do something. And once you get beyond Villanova and Seton Hall, the last 4 games are Butler, UConn, DePaul, and Xavier. And Marquette can play with those 4 teams. They've shown it already this year. They've shown that they can lose to those teams, but they've shown that they can be within 1 possession of those squads at least. And I know that they can come up with a win if they actually decided they want to. So there's still opportunities. I don't know. I'm willing to wait and see with this team. I'm not expecting the tournament, but I can still see myself coming out of the season with a warm feeling inside. Is that crazy?
I think we have 6 games to deliver some warmth going into the postseason. I think that's into the off season, I should say. I think that's fair. I hear what you're saying. I think again, it's just unfortunate that we're in a position now in February having to talk about, a loss to Villanova, even a close loss to Seton Hall might be deemed as a positive trend or continuing a positive trend, and then maybe splitting the 4 games out to the rest of the Big East season with, would you say, Xavier, UConn, DePaul, and who was the 4th?
All right,
that's tough.
Let me put you on the spot odds-wise right now. What do you think the odds are of Marquette getting 1 win out of Creighton and Seton Hall?
Creighton, the game we just played in Seton Hall?
I'm sorry, Villanova and Seton Hall, the upcoming 2 games. What do you think the chances are that we get a win out of those 2? Slim. Less than 50%?
Yeah, I'd say 20 to 30% is where I'm thinking. And it comes down to Seton Hall. I mean, I don't think we have a shot against Nova. But that's a write-off for me. That's like minus 5,000 to me if we're talking betting. Like there's just no there's that
I mean, I totally understand. I totally understand the Villanova thing.
It's tough. I mean, can we surprise? Yes. Can we shoot lights out? I mean, shit. Georgetown shot 50% and scored 86 points against Creighton. Last week? Like anything can happen in the Big East, and that's great. It can happen. Do I expect it to happen? No.
And Villanova did just lose to St. John's by 11.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we are familiar with doing, losing to St. John's. We
sure are.
We have that in common with the Villanova program now.
Yeah. So we're basically on our way to being Nova.
I just want to hit this one bullet point before we move on to the junk drawer, because we're getting up there in time. But
sure.
DJ Carton versus Marcus Zegarowski. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Marcus Zegarowski the preseason Big East Player of the Year? Or am I making that up in my?
Oh, that's a great question. It would not surprise me at all. That actually sounds right.
And after the 2 matchups between Creighton and Marquette, do DJ Carton, I would say I would take DJ Carton personally. I don't know if I mean that in a NBA future way. I mean, it's tough now. Zagorowski's outgoing, and Carton is a younger player, and for them to be even considered in the same discussion, I think is that's a good sign for DJ Carton, because we were wondering what we were going to get out of him coming into the year, and for him to be playing competitively with a guy who was potentially, or one of the candidates for the best player in the Big East this season. Maybe it was Mamu who got that nod. I'm not sure, but still one of the best players in the Big East, at least heralded as coming into this season. And look, DJ Carton has looked comparable, at least, if not better. I do think we need to give credit, though, on that to also Kobe for his defensive efforts on Zagorowski when he was playing him. But there was definitely possessions that Carton was playing. How do you compare those guys?
Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll take what we can get. Zagorowski was the preseason Big East Player of the Year pick. So he did have that preseason honor. He's a junior, I believe. So unless he goes to the NBA, which I would think to be slim odds at this point, we'll probably have to deal with him for another year. So DJ a year younger, sure, give me DJ. I'll take it.
Just on that block alone,
unbelievable. So that block, how much fun would it have? So two things. Would have been so much fun to see DJ pull that block on John Morant a few years ago in the NCAA tournament. On the flip side of that, I would pay an incredible amount of money to see current Joey Hauser actually get just steamrolled by who was it, Damian Jones? Damian Jefferson on that. That would have been great to see another absolute posterization of Joey Hauser for my my own mental health.
Well, first of all, I'm just glad that we have a guard who's willing to go up there in defense of the rim. It reminded me of Dominique James a little bit. He was always willing to get up there and defend the rim, and I did appreciate DJ Carton seeing that Ryan Kalkbrenner of Creighton was maybe getting too many offensive rebounds, perhaps getting a big head, and absolutely posterizing him.
When he flips the switch, man, DJ, his upside is absolutely incredible. The way he can drive the lane.
Seeing that mixtape at the end of the year of DJ's highlights from the season, because there's gonna be a lot of them.
Yeah, I'd like to get to the point where DJ is doing this, and he's doing it like I don't know, where it's not like a Zach LaVine. When I turn it on, I do it, but I'm not a game changer. I don't move the needle for a team, but hey, every now and again I have a highlight here and there. Like, it'd be nice to see him do this more consistently. And it kind of, when it seems like, and again, this is the layperson basketball fan sitting on my couch drinking a beer watching this, but it seems like when he wants to, he can really drive the lane and really hammer down with physicality at will, like on both sides of the court. And to go along with that, his range is incredible. His upside is massive. It's just the infrequency that kills me.
That's so a great litmus test coming up on Wednesday against Villanova.
Yeah, good point.
And, we've talked about the NBA potential of some of these guys on Marquette right now. Mm-hmm. Something that I know a lot of NBA scouts will do is look at a player against the best opponents that they face. Most notably, usually because there are other NBA level players on those other teams. Yep. And I think if you are looking at DJ Carton tape against Creighton, you will see a guy with at least NBA level athleticism.
No question.
A guy who definitely needs some work on his jump shot. I think that should be noted. Saw even Bykowski out there with a tweet hoping for a little bit of a rework of DJ's jump shot. but certainly that type of potential. And I think that this game against Villanova on Wednesday is going to be really interesting. I think all of Marquette fan eyes, should be on DJ Carton and Dawson Garcia for this final 6-game stretch. Look, this is we're 5-8. Theoretically, it's not over. We do have 2 good wins on the resume. There is a 5 to 10% chance that we still make the tournament. It exists. It's not doom yet. So what I want to see in this last 6-game stretch is our best players pedal to the metal, as much as possible in every game. And and that's what we're going to be lamenting at the end of the season. If they don't, you go to the NIT, whatever happens, it's going to be because Dawson Garcia and DJ Carton just weren't assertive enough for this squad, because that's what this team needs. In the vacuum of no Marcus Howard, in the vacuum of no Hauser Bros, where is that confidence and that offensive assertiveness and leadership going to come from? And you have to want it from those guys. I want it from Jamal also. I mean, Jamal's been our steadiest player, but I'm really most looking for it from Dawson and DJ down the stretch. What are those guys willing to do for this team? Pedal to the metal. I don't care. Play recklessly, but play fast and confidently. That's what I want from these guys.
Yep. And at the end of the day, even if we don't make the tournament, I'm just happy to watch a team that's enjoyable to watch, that's trying their hardest.
Some people might take umbrage with the enjoyable to watch part. But.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Well, they're not always enjoyable to watch. These are young men out there doing their best. I mean, again, not to be too much of the sunshine rainbows guy, but it is what it is. Let's see growth. Let's try to find positives where they exist here through the end of the year. Mohan, maybe you're right. The possibility certainly exists. The door hasn't totally slammed shut. We're really kind of grasping at the threads on the end of the rope here, though, and it's not looking likely. Let's just enjoy this last 6-game stretch and see where we land, and then again, I think next year we'll talk about next year when that time comes. We've got talent coming in. We have the last stretch of games here to enjoy with key contributors to this team and people who have been the identity of this team through the Marcus here. Someone like Theo John. Let's just enjoy it and see where we land. This is us having recalibrated expectations. Let's make the best of it. That's where I'm at.
Shout out to Theo John for that fake with the right hand and then the left hand hook. That was nice today.
Right at the end of the game, kind of the little showy little
show. And
I mean, man, his highlight reel would be quite something to see too.
He would be so good as the 5th best scorer on the team.
Oh,
and,
God, yeah.
And unfortunately, there's not 4 guys that want to score more than him on this squad.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
Let's have more than 6 field goal attempts from Garcia against Nova. How about that?
Yeah, wait, let me look at the thing again.
3 of 6.
I want to see Jose.
3, I think.
I feel like if I told you before this game that Dawson Garcia had 1 more field goal attempt than Jose Perez, you wouldn't believe me.
In 20 more minutes of play.
First of all, you'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah, what? For who?
Yeah,
what
Jose
team?
Perez is taking 5 field goal shots, and Dawson Garcia is taking 6.
Oh, and we're not in the junk drawer yet, and this isn't even a junk drawer topic here for the day. Big shouts to Juan Toscano Anderson. I don't know if you guys gave him a shout out in the last pod or two. I didn't hear one, but
not a huge one. We might have name dropped, but go ahead.
Yeah, let's get on our feet for Juan.
Granular.
Hey, Juan Anderson starting for your Golden State Warriors NBA. Incredible story. He played in the Mexican League and then the G League, and really just great. I mean, just classic grit and grind Marquette guy, worked his way into onto the bench for Golden State and now into the starting rotation. Absolutely unbelievable. He's putting up well-rounded lines. He's contributing across the floor. Really not, to the level of Jimmy Butler, but in that mold, just doing a little bit of everything for that team. Really cool. Again, just goes to that.
I think if you told B. Henry that Juan Toscano Anderson would be starting for the Golden State Warriors in 2021, he would eat a shoe.
He owes us a few.
Get him on the shoe record.
We need to make like a shoe. We need to make a shoe stew because he owes us, I think, multiple.
Yeah, we need to start getting a shoe board of some sort.
We do. We should have a shoe graphic where we actually track that through the season. Bubbles shoe bets, and then we can make him pay it out.
Year, yeah, how many shoes got to eat like freaking Joey Chestnut?
Yes, Bubbles is just putting down baby shoes, dipping them in oil first, so they slide down the gullet real nice. He can't move for a week because he's
just so plugged up with leather.
We're gonna give Bubbles a bowel obstruction with size 6 Nikes after the season.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Anywho, not a lot else for the junk drawer. So one thing.
Any good questions from the? Go ahead.
We can throw.
I'll start digging through. Do your thing. I'm gonna dig through the comments.
Yeah. So the one thing that made me chuckle out loud during the game was just seeing again. Maybe I've missed this in previous games. It's probably been there for a little bit, but just the punting under the scorer's table. The ad there. For a long stretch of time in the second half, just said pain ... killers. It's like, yeah, that's what we fucking need right now. That's what we all need. Some painkillers. Like, that's perfect. So what leads me to, what would be the most on point in stadium? Well, I guess it doesn't have to be in stadium.
I was going to say even on the jersey because now they're getting,
jersey patch. Yeah.
Pain ... killers.
What would be the most appropriate, like, is this like lidocaine spray, like numb the pain away?
Such a good question.
What would be the most appropriate advertiser for this Marquette team this year?
Shame only 8 are watching now because I feel like the chat would be popping off with good ideas.
Yeah, if this were a big win over Creighton, we would definitely be.
Oh,
maybe our man Jay will come through with something here.
What about? I got a good one. Let's keep it local or somewhat regional. Let's. I'm going to go with Kohler because if you're going to flush your season,
flush it, baby.
At least make it look like it's with luxury fixtures.
We'll even provide the bidet for after you are done doing your business.
We will squirt your ass with water after every Marquette loss.
It's like those toilet commercials where you see them flushing like 48 golf balls down in one flush. It's like, how many losses can this Kohler flush? Well, and then you see like a little like Villanova logo, a big DePaul logo going down the toilet, like handles these with ease. Those would be, Oh, Jay missed the question. We were talking about the painkillers ad bunting below the scorer's table and how on brand that was for this team this year and what other appropriate advertising partnerships would be for Marquette basketball in 2020, 2021.
Personally, I get pissed at the Culver's ads because I don't have access to a Culver's.
Oh, man. Culver's
and it's just
so great.
Friggin' brutal seeing those Butterburgers on the screen.
I've been talking to people about this for years. I feel like, why is there no Culver's open like Michigan Ave in Chicago? Like, how much that would clean up. We got to pull some money and get like a real chili franchise together for a Culver's in Chicago. It would just dominate.
Also, like put one in New York. Put one next to a Shake Shack.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Let's side by side a Culver's and Shake Shack and see.
Capitalism, man. Strongest survive. Well, maybe like a McKinsey. Like we need some Yeah, we did say Kohler. Yeah, Jay suggested Kohler.
Yes.
Maybe we need like some strategy and management partnerships here. Maybe give me like a McKinsey. I don't know.
Here's the question. Here's the question now.
Yeah.
So I think we've settled that Kohler is a good representation of Marquette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any other Big East teams out there that you have a good idea of a sponsor that they should wear on their jersey? Either positive or negative jokes.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's tough.
DePaul? I feel like we're not even allowed to make DePaul jokes.
That's just like it's low hanging fruit. Like, what do you even waste management? I mean, who would be like?
We make fun of teams that we've beaten this year. So,
yeah, boy. Well, you really just limited things. Well, Wisconsin would be a good one.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's. Yeah.
What kind of like white nationalist?
Because with every loss that we have, it just sours their season even more.
Yeah, maybe My Pillow, and then.
Oh, great one.
Yeah, there you go. Not to get too political for the bros on the.
Yeah, for all the My Pillow fans.
Hey, if you're a My Pillow fan, yeah, you can tune out of you.
Hey,
it's okay.
This is a great opportunity. Here's my My Pillow advertisement.
Uh-huh.
Hey, do you want to get scammed by a crackhead? Hey, do you know how to put balls of styrofoam into a sack and lay your head on it? Why don't you pony up $40 for that trash? And also, in the meanwhile, sponsor some white terrorism. It's a great bargain for everyone. All right.
Make sure to look out for that 40% off home goods coupon in the mail.
But of course, the lead is: have you ever been scammed by a crackhead? Mike Lindell. All right. I guess that's our only thing we've settled on is Wisconsin would have a My Pillow ad. That's what we can come up with.
Yeah, maybe like a Sabaros for St. John's or something.
I would give Xavier. Let's give Xavier Skyline Chili.
That's perfect.
Because it's local and it sucks compared to real chili. So it's like the joke's on them. They think they're like supporting a cool brand, but really it's trash. Which is kind of Xavier because they're always like deemed legit, and then they can never really cash it in. You know what I mean?
Nailed it. I think that's spot on. Anyone else? Can we Seton Hall?
What about Butler? Butler's sponsored by Mike Pence's conversion camps. Sorry, if your school is in Indiana, you're fair game. That's just hey, I'm going to put my university in a state that was the grounds for the birthplace of the KKK.
I believe it was the birthplace of the KKK. That's right.
Well, I don't know about Butler's campus per se.
Oh, probably not. But
it's
probably
it makes them fair game for any attacks, in my opinion.
Evansville or Fort Wayne. There's some gems there.
Well, Sour Patch Kids, Jay says. I think we need to come. Okay, before we sign off, our task is a Seton Hall. Seton Hall advertisement.
Seton Hall, yeah. Oh, man.
Think of how about like, speaking of painkillers, what about?
Speaking of that classic basketball podcast topic.
I feel like there's a lot of pharmaceutical brands in.
There certainly are in Jersey.
Drug pirates. I don't know. We are way too far off the rails here. How about NJ Transit? We'll just give them NJ Transit.
Infuriating will always set you back. That's perfect. I took NJ Transit for 3 years, and it is a miserable experience.
There you go.
It should actually just be sponsored by Penn Station. That's what it should be sponsored by. Want to get attacked by a homeless person?
Pull my headphones out because you're good. I don't know. I don't even know. Okay, I got back in. I don't even know if you said this, but Newark Penn Station.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
All right. Seton Hall basketball brought to you by Newark Penn Station.
You want a Dunkin' iced coffee and you want to get attacked?
You want a bouquet of flowers that looks like it was pulled out of the trash bin? Newark Penn Station. Sponsored by Seton Hall Basketball.
Every loss to Seton Hall feels like 2 a.m. at Newark Penn Station.
All right, guys, we've gotten loopy here.
Yep.
Such is the euphoria that will descend upon you after a 3-point loss to Creighton.
That's right.
That's just part of the Marquette experience.
Are we trending up? Are we trending down? Or are we trending blackledge? I believe that's our question for the rest of the season.
Well, trend it black.
When can we start looking towards the big three or the basketball tournament? When can we transition there?
You mean the TBT?
The TBT, the basketball tournament. Yes.
Well, obviously, we were granted a slot as the returning champions.
Of course. Yes.
I believe that kicks off in June or something like that. So.
Okay. All right. We got a little time. Okay.
We got a little time, but it might be time soon. Or at the as we've mentioned, it might be time to start talking Marquette women's basketball, who is actually also legitimate. So.
Yeah, no, that would be welcome.
Anyways, I appreciate you guys sticking with us for over an hour. Shame on you for enjoying that. You are crazy. But we do love you very much, and we love Marquette basketball. Any last words from you, Mr. Pond?
Nope. Onward, and we'll see what happens against Nova. Hopefully hopefully we're pleasantly surprised. Hopefully no one loses money on that game. That's all we have to look forward to. So.
Right, the prosperity of Marquette fans and the endowment number.
Yeah,
is all we care about.
Marquette's 2020-21 logo. Don't let them hurt your heart and your wallet. Stay away from gambling.
Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
1-800-GAMBLER. Sponsored by the Illinois Gaming Board.
All right, Marquette fans. Thanks for torturing yourselves along with us.
Hey,
we really appreciate it. Yep,
we wouldn't be doing everyone proper service if we didn't get our quick Super Bowl picks here, Mohan.
Oh, shit.
I need Mostradamus. I need a quick. Give me 30 seconds here. 20 seconds on Chiefs Bucks.
I haven't looked at the spread to see if it's changed, but I think it's 3. Oh, 3.5.
I think so. It might
3.5 for the Chiefs, and then I believe the over/under was 56.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked at that recently. It started really high.
It seems like I want the over. It just seems like one of those games where the league's going to be like, let's get some fucking points. Like, we got our studs out there. There's superstars all over the field. And the refs will look the other way at every holding, every offensive pass interference in order to make those points happen. I think they're gonna milk this for every 4.5 hour minute that this game is going to be worth. So I'm feeling it seems ambitious. 56 points would be pretty high, but I do feel good about that. As for the outcome, it's really tough. I've been really questionable on the Buccaneers all season because there's been times where they've shown that they maybe can't be trusted. But as of late, they've looked utterly unstoppable. My issue, well, I guess I could say it's my issue with both teams, is a little bit concerned about the running game. Passing game, elite on both ends. So to me, the winner of the game is going to be the one that if one team can assert itself in the running game, I think that they can be the one that pulls it off. And also the team that disrupts the pocket more, I think is likely. And from my stance, I feel like that is the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have a better defensive line. I think that they have a better chance of getting to Mahomes than vice versa.
Yep.
So
I was going to say, everything you just laid out really sounds like you're talking
Sounds
Bucks.
like I'm leaning Bucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. They're better on the ground. They're better in the trenches. They're going to win that. I saw rain potentially in the forecast.
They're the home team.
And going against Tom, I mean, who knows? That's not a bet.
Tom Brady at home in the Super Bowl, rainy weather.
Yep. The one bet I haven't dug into this, and this is not betting advice here, anybody, but I think Brady, the over-under in passing attempts was like 27 or 29. That seems like a guaranteed over to me. There's some of these things that seem just like a little bit of no-brainer here. The game's going to be one in the air, but again, yeah, we shall see. We'll circle back on
any other. You like the prop set, I believe. Anything you like?
A little bit of a prop guy. I was just listening to Joe House, the Ringer betting extraordinaire, along with what's his name, Warren Sharp, I think. There was a fun
Sterling Sharp and Warren Sapp had a child.
Exactly, yeah, except he's a white guy with a mustache, so no, not at all. But I think he was saying there's a 10,000 to 1 prop on Brady being the first rusher to 10 yards. And who knows, like that was what House was on. I could see it happening. At 1 third down, 3rd and long, Brady takes off on a scramble, totally unexpected. 10,000 to 1. I mean, put $5, $10 on that. You're gonna 500, $1,000. That's not bad. Somehow we're gaining watchers as we're going through these Super Bowl betting breakdown years.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling. All right, I'm gonna throw my random prop. I tend to have a good feel for the randos on a roster.
I like that.
So for me, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Cameron Brate, touchdown. Oh, I'm guessing he's at 0.5 or something like that for over-under touchdown. Okay. I'm going to say Cameron Brate, touchdown.
Anytime touchdown or first touchdown?
I'm guessing he has a 0.5 over-under, so I'm going to say over touchdowns if it's 0.5. It's just my guess. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know why this came to mind, but I want to say Chris Conley over receiving yards.
All right.
Heard it here first.
Mostradamus has spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm definitely going to study this a little bit more tonight and put some thought into it and lay a few wagers down. I think, I don't know, something in my gut says why not just go Bucks. Something just smells like it could be a Bucks game.
I also have like a weird feeling that Brady gets injured. Is that bad to say?
Probably not good to say, but
like a career-ending. I'm just being a dick to a Pats
trying to be a dick to me, yeah. For everyone who doesn't know, the first
dick karma to everyone around me in Massachusetts.
Just all the dick karma. That's what everyone. That's what you log on to Real Chili for.
I do feel obligated to mention to the podcast listeners, since we are increasing, it is comical here in Massachusetts how rigorously Tom Brady is covered on the local news here throughout his season, the whole season, not even just Super Bowl week. Every week it was a fucking report about Tom Brady and his performance. And it was lovely and it was comical. I guess it was they probably might have done something similar in Green Bay when Favre went to the Vikings.
Sure did.
But it's still it's fun to watch, especially with the mediocre at best season that the Patriots had with Cam Newton. It's just been lovely to see them flirt with him from a distance via the local news. It's absolutely charming. So
one could say that the Pats were trending up at the end of the year, though. So
yeah, you always want to trend up into that worst draft position.
Yeah, there you go. There it is. For all the Real Chili listeners who do not know this, which many probably do, the first half of my formative years in my upbringing were in New England, so I do root for New England sports teams outside of Marquette.
Well,
there it is. We're about to rapidly lose listeners now at this point.
We're like, all right, let's quit it with the disgusting behavior, Eric. We don't need to talk about all that.
Yeah, you've been spreading enough dick.
That's what happens when you get to the 75-minute mark of the podcast. We start admitting to being Patriots fans.
Off the rails. We're fully off the rails.
Well, thank you all for sticking with us. We are excited for another sport tomorrow. We are excited also for the Marquette game against Villanova on Wednesday. I am not excited for a performance from The Weeknd. He is one of my least favorite artists. But it is what it is. I don't know I feel like Eric's whole playlist is The Weeknd. Care to chime in? You have 5 seconds to say something about The Weeknd.
No Weeknd thoughts other than it is The Weeknd and I'm enjoying it.
I will say if you take the 10 seconds to use the Google machine, Google The Weeknd face surgery transformation. You won't be disappointed in his ability to transform into a nutcracker like a ballerina face fit for Tchaikovsky. It is impressive. Anyways, thank you, Marquette Nation, for tuning in to probably the most thrilling and thorough Marquette Real Chili podcast of all time, as Marquette holds the fort against the spread, losing by 3 against stalwart opponent Creighton Bluejays at the Fiserv Forum, dropping to 2-6 at home in Big East play, and looking forward to dropping to 5-9 overall in Big East play against Villanova on Wednesday. Again, thanks for joining us. For my friend Eric Pond here, it's been a great experience. And for the 8 listeners who tuned in live, we love you very much. And for those of you at home listening on another device, we love you very much, but also just a little bit later in time. So thank you all for tuning in. This has been the Real Chili Podcast. Have a great Super Bowl